In 1984, 52 years after Liu Chongquan distinguished himself as the sole Chinese athlete to represent his country in their first Olympic foray at the LA Games, the largest Chinese Olympic delegation in the nation's history was preparing to embark on a voyage that would forever leave its mark on the hearts and minds of people, both in China and the world over. 32 years after the mainland's last participation in an Olympic event in Helsinki in 1952, China would re-enter the international sports arena as a force to be reckoned with at the Games of the 23rd Olympiad in Los Angeles. The excitement of the imminence of this event would have been best appreciated by Zu-Liang Sung, a man who had pioneered China's sports development and who had played a large role in paving the way for this moment. Zu-Liang, having lived to see his first two dreams come true, China attending the Olympics and China sending a team to the Olympics, sadly had passed away in California in 1967. However, a wonderful twist of fate occurred which would send Zu-Liang Sung's nephew, Weiliang, a reporter for the China Daily, as part of the Chinese delegation to the very stadium in Los Angeles where his uncle had first represented China in 1932. There, Weiliang would act as witness to the fulfillment of his uncle's third dream as China, for the first time in history, would win Olympic gold.
When my father got the news he can go to Los Angeles to cover the Olympic game in 1984, he was very excited. He phoned from Beijing, called the family, called my mother. He said, "Hi, I will go to the Los Angeles." My mother just tell him, "You go to Los Angeles, you go." Then why tell us why so excited? He said, "You don't know. This is the place I all want to go." And this time I was report the Olympic game. The Olympic game is very important to us. Then I always know my father want to go there because he already waiting for these days for a long time. He know this is the third dream about my granduncle, and also this is the dream for the whole countries. So he want to see witness this dream come true.
Weiliang could not help being influenced by his uncle's dreams, having spent most of his youth in Zu-Liang's home, which was, like his own, on the campus of St. John's University. Zu-Liang was a family hero and a local celebrity, and it was he who had instilled in Weiliang his love of sports and a vision of a strong Olympic future.
Just before 1932, the first time the Chinese people attend the Olympic game, the 1 year before that, my father was born in the St. John's University campus. He was grown up in the campus, so the environment there really influenced my father's life. From the very beginning, my father got very influenced from my granduncle. So when he was grew up step by step, he was like the sports because the environment in the St. John's University, everybody likes sports. So from the very beginning, he see so many people to play on the playground. So when he was very young, he loved to sports. And also my granduncle always bring him to the swimming pool, throw him to the swimming pool. This is why when I grew up, he threw me to the swimming pool. So my father ran the swim in the campus in the St. John's University. When I was very young, my father also told me to take me to the St. John's University. Also asked me to learn the swim from there. I learned swim from St. John's University too. When my father grew up, he enjoyed the sports very much. When he is in the middle school in St. John's, he began to play the basketball, football, and also he is a very good runner. The 100, 200, and 400, he's very good. When he was in the university team, he played a football team and a baseball team and also swim team. Also the track field, 100, 200, and 400 is his favorite.
Weiliang began to follow the same path set by his uncle, graduating from St. John's University in 1951, and then, although he had majored in journalism, taking positions as a physical education instructor. Like his uncle before him, he dedicated himself to the improvement of athletic training and performance in his homeland.
After he graduated from the school, he stayed he as a physical teacher in the Zhu-Liang University. Then later they moved, they transferred to the another university called Shanghai 第二医学院 as a teacher to teach the sports. Also, he coaching the team for baseball, football, and the track. Also, he was a very good baseball player for Shanghai team. He won the third time in the national games during 1956, 1957, and 1958. So after he was changed the job from Shanghai to the Anhui, he is the coach in the Anhui team, Anhui province, the baseball and the football. He also is a referee for the first national game during 1959.
中国要是能拿到更多奖牌，就是超越咱们以前的历史嘛，超越奖牌记录，我觉得这更好。
Little by little, step by step, we can have the dream come true, and every day we can feel better.
梦想就是一种信念嘛，有了这种信念，就可以通过努力去实现这个梦想。
希望我国的运动员在奥运会上是勇攀一个高峰，拿出更优异的成绩来回报我们的祖国。
A sign of an uncle's love and of a bond that holds together the dreams of 3 generations. One of Philip Jiang's most prized possessions is a baseball glove given by Zu-Liang to his father, Weiliang. It was with this glove that Weiliang would represent Shanghai, winning 3 consecutive baseball championships.
This glove brings the family the whole connection of the Olympic Games, because my father always remembered what my granduncle said to him. You say, if you want to play well, you will be a good sportsman. You have to study hard and work hard and play hard. Then you will become a real good sportsman. So later, my father didn't play baseball anymore. He kept the gloves in his cases. He put somewhere, it's very careful to put there. Nobody can touch it. Then when I was growing up, I like baseball very much. So he told me the story, why I keep these gloves in mind. You have to keep these gloves, the story of the glove in your mind. If you want to be a good player, you have to think about this. You have to remember the story, the words the granduncle tell me, now I tell you.
飞利浦先生的父亲蒋维良老先生呢，对我的影响应该讲呢还是比较大的。可以这么说，是良师益友。就是说，在这个我们尽管工作当中呢，接触的并不是很多，有时候有些报道呢会在这个大家作为新闻记者的一线采访时呢会碰到。那么更多的我感受呢，就是在这个我们参加这个新闻界游泳比赛的时候，那么他呢非常认真，而且呢各种泳姿呢也非常的这个出色，成绩也非常好，就看得出他这个体育方面呢非常的全面。就是我呢也是想的，哎。 这倒是我们应该学习的榜样。那么就是说，也是要向他学习。所以说呢，也是每年都会去参加这个新闻界的各项的这个比赛，包括这个游泳比赛啊、乒乓球啊，以及其他的是篮球啊、足球啊等等比赛。这一点应该讲呢，他对我影响还是比较大的。就是我们也是说，作为一个体育记者，你本身是搞这个业务，那么就是在这个平常的这个业余的这个锻炼当中，哪怕就是说从这个业余的锻炼，一个是锻炼身体，另外呢就是说在这个锻炼当中呢，对各个项目呢也是更加的熟悉，增加这个知识面，对你整个的自己的业务提高呢会有很大的帮助。
Having passed his Olympic dreams to a new generation, Zu-Liang Sung would now depart from the Chinese sports movement and from China. In 1956, The same year that Weiliang was leading his baseball team to the first of 3 consecutive national championships, the mainland began a long hiatus from Olympic participation, which would last until the IOC formally recognized the People's Republic of China as an official member in 1979. From the United States, Zu-Liang Sung, the former honorary secretary of the Chinese National Amateur Athletics Federation, the man who had led the first Chinese athlete to an Olympics event in 1932, watched and waited for his country's moment to come.
In the United States, my granduncle still thinking about his third dreams. Every time, any sports games, he will be very interested. My grandma tell me when the grandfather there's a football game or basketball game or the Olympic will happen, and where he always watching there. He will sit there watching the TV all the time. He really hope one day will see the Olympic game will hold in China, and China will win some medals from the Olympic. This is what he really want.
Zu-Liang Sung would have one more chance to witness an Olympic Games when he was invited as a VIP to attend the 18th Olympiad in 1964 in Tokyo, the first Olympic event to be hosted by an Asian nation.
In 1964, the Olympic Games, the first, went to Asia, in Tokyo, Japan. So this time, the news spread out. My uncle is very excited. My granduncle is very excited because he was invited by the organization committee of Japan. He invited his as a VIP. So he went to Tokyo to visit to see the games. So he's very happy. When the game is finished, he went to Hong Kong. That time his sister, my grandmother, was very ill in Hong Kong. So he spent a lot of days, many days, I think more than 1 month to spare the time with my grandmother. So tell him the story about the Olympic Games and the very good happiness time they spent it when they were very young. He told my grandmother, he said, I have 2 dreams left, still there. One dream is to win the China, I hope the China will get the real gold medal. And another dream is when China can hold the game. This time, the Japan has already got the hold the game. So I think the 4 dreams will come true very soon.
With China's reinstatement by the IOC in 1979, hopes for a Chinese gold medal began to look up until the boycott of the Moscow Olympics in 1980. 1982 and 1983, however, would provide ample opportunity for Chinese athletes to sharpen their skills before the next round of Summer Games. The Chinese women's volleyball team won the World Cup in 1981 and then the World Championships in 1982. Zhu Jianhua set a world record in the high jump, and 21-year-old gymnast Li Ning earned 6 gold medals at the World Cup gymnastic competition in 1982.
当国际奥委会恢复了中华人民共和国合法协会以后，对我们中国的体育事业有个很大的推动作用。我们所有的这种体育项目都是紧紧地围绕着奥运会的项目参与这个训练，进行比赛。
Among China's top hopes for a medal in 1984 was Zhu Jianhua.
朱建华是一个中国著名的跳高运动员，他3次打破了世界纪录。那么像他这样子的水平呢，应该是在世界上面还是名列前茅的。可是为了备战洛杉矶奥运会，不管是刮风下雨，不管是春夏秋冬，他还是继续的增强他的密度、强度这方面的训练，始终就是说有更好的竞技状态，准备参加奥运会。
为奥运会前头训练嘛，总归像这个能够参加个奥运会嘛，也勿是讲每个人侪好参加，就是讲侬世界高头田径协会会得定只标准出来。假使讲，我记得是阿拉84年个奥运会，大概是达标高度好像是2米内6翻2米内8，侬一定达到搿个高度以后才好参加奥运会。实际上我是老早达到搿个标准的。我训练勿是从1984年开始，我训练从74年开始训练的。 所以呢，84年是参加奥运会。像我正常的一般性的训练情况下头呢，3个钟头左右，一天了3个钟头。可能冬天大概会得辰光稍微长眼，能够达到4个钟头啊，4个半钟头啊。但正常的情况侪是3个钟头。有种项目高头有可能有区别，别个项目也有可能达到7个钟头、6个钟头。也有种项目，我想有种项目2个钟头就可以了。像中长跑运动员勿断地跑嘛，搿个训练的辰光高头侪是勿一定个啦。像我基本训练辰光呢，3个钟头左右一天。
奖牌的话，当然获得越多越好了，也是体现一个中国国力的表现。
It shows that China has good athletes and it's a powerful nation.
友谊第一，比赛第二。
The development of sports had by now fulfilled Zu-Liang Sung's dream of nationwide participation. And because of the firm commitment of the government and the interest of the people, sports competitions, including Chinese athletes, required sports coverage.
In 1980s, my father moved to the Beijing to work. He worked for the China Daily because his English is very good, and also he knows many sports, and he also is a news. The major is in news. So the China Daily found him. They asked him to join the paper, the newspaper. But the next year is 1982. The newspaper sent him to the New Delhi to report the Asia Games. And the next year in 1983, there is a university game held in Canada. So my father, this is my first time my father went to Canada. After the game is finished, he went to the United States because you have to transfer. That time I don't think have the direct flight. So my father when he's on the way back to China, he went to the United States. This time, the first time he visited my granduncle's family. My grand auntie is still there, and all the sons and the sisters are still there. They are very exciting. So how now you can come out, because that time if the people can come out from country is not easy. So this time you can went to United States. Yeah, they are very happy. Everybody invite him to a dinner or something. Many relatives there. So they together with my granduncle's family, they go to the graveyard to see my granduncle there. Then my father told my granduncle in the graveyard, he said that one day China will be a very strong country for the sports. You see, China has many delegates, performances very good in these international games. Hope next year the Olympic game in the United States, so you can see the results. You can see your dream. Maybe it will come true this time.
Olympic success now seemed attainable for China, even inevitable. A sign of how far sports had grown in the public consciousness, the 353-member Olympic delegation was invited to Beijing before its departure, where Vice Premier Wan Li asked the athletes to win as many gold medals as they possibly could.
对啊，每一次大型的运动会出去，前头呢，因为侪代表国家出去的，所以呢，国家领导人可能侪会得接机一下，然后呢，给你们一个鼓劲。每趟鼓劲呢，总归是希望呢能够得到好的成绩咯。那么作为自家来讲呢，每趟出去比赛嘛，也总归希望能够拿到好的成绩。没一个运动员跑出去能讲，哎呀，随便比，搿勿可能发生在每个运动员身高头啦。每个运动员侪有好胜心，所以呢，辣运动场高头，哪怕伊平常训练再勿认真，但是伊到比赛辰光一定会是拼是命去比个啦。哪怕侬叫伊像种大型的比赛，断脱只手拿块金牌，伊也断脱只手、断脱只脚，伊也肯上。所以搿 每个运动员侪会得老认真去对待搿比赛个啦，搿是肯定需要交关人个努力咯。像侬是任何一个运动员，包括现在个运动员，包括老早子运动员，侬侪有一个团队来帮助侬，从训练开始，训练个场地、吃饭，包括住宿，包括医生，侬治疗咯，侪有一个团队来帮侬一道突破啦。侬叫授权仅仅靠侬一家头去，侬勿可能达到迭个成绩个啦。样样物事要侬自家弄，侬是等侬自家所有物事准备好，侬训练也结束了，两三冲两没了。
Among the group in Beijing was Weiliang Jiang, who perhaps more than anyone there could appreciate what this moment meant to the memory of those who had gone before. Without the dreams of his uncle Zu-Liang Sung and other pioneers of the Olympic movement in China, without their hard work in developing sports in their homeland, without their envisioning and sustaining the dream through times of hardship, China would not at this moment be standing at the threshold of Olympic glory.
My father told me, you see, this time I will report the cover the Olympic game in Los Angeles. This is all I wanted. So I will be very happy there to see the dream come true. So that time I was very excited too, because I know my father loved these sports, loved the Olympic game. He always wanted one day he can report the Olympic Games, because this is also my granduncle's the dream, and also all the Chinese people want that this day will come.
In the preface to the book written by Zu-Liang Sung chronicling the Chinese Olympic involvement, there sits a quote from founder of the IOC, Pierre de Coubertin, which says, "The important thing is not to win, but to take part." China began its participation in 1932. 52 years later, they seem poised to finally win, and in doing so, complete Zu-Liang Sung's third dream. And his nephew, Weiliang Jiang, would be there, pen and paper in hand, ready to record it all.